welcome you to this second annual Fall Forum. Pleased to see the number of you here, and I'm pleased to see so many of our employees here. You're in for a real treat today as we hear our Chancellor speak about leadership. And to get this underway, I want to introduce you to Kendra Baglienti. Your husband's in on who is our outstanding Dean of Communications. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. McCrary. My name is Kendra Baglienti, and I am the Dean of Communications. This morning, I want to welcome you again to our second annual Fall Forum, and I want to explain a little bit about the purpose of this event. About 3 years ago, I asked the faculty of my division to think about what we could do to become a more cohesive unit. And immediately, one of the suggestions they gave was that we should come up with a set of common readings and a common theme and have our students share in that experience. A couple of our faculty were already doing a lecture series, so we decided to connect those two events together, and there's where the Fall Forum was born. Hazel Carlos and Haven Aberdeen set together to set up our last Fall Forum last semester, and our focus then was gender, race, and politics. This year our focus is service and leadership, and we are delighted that our own Chancellor of the Dallas County Community College District is joining us this morning to share a few words. I'm going to ask one of our faculty members, Coach Burton, one of our English professors, to come up and introduce our speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start with our introduction with a little story. One day while walking through the A building and making copies, no, I didn't jam the copy machine, but I stumbled upon this great book of essays, An Essential Voice. I opened the book, and to my surprise were all these great essays. Essays of conviction, essays of wisdom, essays of civility, in a time when we all need a little civility in our lives. As a student of life and a professor of students, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today our Chancellor, your Chancellor, Dr. Laszlo Wright.
Good morning, students, and good morning, faculty. I'm delighted to be here for this, your Fall Forum. I was surprised when I received this invitation very early and was told that they wanted to read this book of essays and they wanted to have some students ask me questions about that. And during the process, we developed that they wanted to hear a little bit about my journey, how I happened to be in the place where I am today. So I have a defined amount of time because I want to allow time for questions. So let me take you on what I call the Laszlo journey. We began in my hometown of Vicksburg, Mississippi. I was born shortly after the Depression in Mississippi, which means that I grew up during the era of very, very rigid segregation. I'm the oldest of 9 children. Because I was the oldest of 9 children, and because my father was engaged in construction work that took him across the state, I became a surrogate father for my 8 siblings who came behind me. I learned my early leadership lessons from my mother as I became the surrogate father for my siblings. I attended Alcorn State College in Mississippi. I did not want to go there. I wanted to go to a more prestigious institution, but that was all that my parents could afford. 1 week after going to Alcorn, I wanted to leave and come back home. I did not like the food, did not like my Hummingbird room. I wanted to come home, and I told my parents that, and they came down from Vicksburg, Mississippi to see their son. Fortunately, the Assistant Dean of Men had his office in Mississippi Hall, where I was living. he and I became attached. When my parents arrived, his first task was to tell them to not take me home. My parents did what many parents do these days. They brought what are now called care packages. They brought this huge box of food to give to me. And when I saw the food and juxtaposed it against that bad dining hall food, I decided I would stay. I was very impressed with that encounter with a student services dean. He counseled me to stay there and he would assist me.